Scarborough Mirror saying poetry club forming in Scarborough. And I'm not much of a joiner, but I had to join this. I love poetry. Club in Scarborough. It was right at Agincourt Mall, minutes from my house. So I signed up, and that's where I met this wonderful woman and Jivan Bhagwat, who at the time, they weren't married. They were fledgling couples in love, forming this poetry club, which has just been fabulous. Is it coming up to 7 years? 7 years, meeting once a month on the first Friday of the month, and all are welcome. Now we've converted to Zoom, but I'm sure we'll be back in the library at Agincourt someday. And that's not all that Anna does, though. So once I found out about her brilliant work as a poetry coach and analyzing the printed word and working with Jivan on his books and giving him feedback and giving all of us feedback, I found out that she's also a fitness guru. Who knew? And today she's going to introduce us to her program, which is all about climate change and climate justice. And I'm going to leave it to Anna now to explain what she's doing. And please join in welcoming Anna Nieminen.
Thank you so much for the invitation here again for all of you. And thank you, Sheila, for that introduction. So I am going to read for about 12 minutes. So I have a website, my Embodied Climate Justice Fitness website, and I have a blog there. So I'm going to read from a couple of those blogs. And then after that, I'll invite you to join in on a 6-minute climate aware fitness activation. So I'll be moving over there and we'll have some music. So you're invited to participate in whatever way works for you. So you can just observe, or you can remain seated if you like. You can just do the upper body gestures, or just, walk with your feet seated, or you can stand if you like. I'll be doing some moving backwards and forwards and sideways. Your space may be limited, so you might just want to stay in one spot. So just make it work for you, okay? So welcome to my Embodied Climate Justice Fitness presentation. My name is Anna Nieminen, and I am a climate aware group fitness instructor and blogger. I am Canfor Pro certified in fitness instructor specialist, stress resiliency, and some other certifications. As a climate aware fitness professional, I'm hearing about and learning more about the interconnected calls for climate justice and a just recovery from the global pandemic. I feel the need to align my group fitness offerings with these calls by interpreting fitness moves and choreography through a climate justice lens. So I'm using group fitness as a medium for creative climate communication. So why join me in group fitness? So climate change is a serious issue impacting the health of individuals, communities, ecosystems, and our planet. Many people are feeling confused, anxious, and even afraid about the climate crisis and the related ecological and other crises. So you can join me and others in as we envision, express with our bodies, and share our hope and intentions for bringing about a sustainable climate future for all. So embodied movement. Together, we will activate our climate awareness and practice. We will symbolize and cultivate climate justice principles, issues, and ideals with physical activity to grow the climate justice movement. Strengthening and stretching. So together we will strengthen our climate justice core values as well as our cores. We will stretch our climate justice consciousness as well as our bodies. And it's time to take action. So together we will resist eco-apathy, dystopian visions of the future. We will channel environmentally linked confusion, distress, and eco-anxiety, and inspire one another to better overall well-being and climate justice action. So I invite you to visit my website where I have an activations page. And what I'm going to demonstrate today is on my activations page. You can read more about this particular choreography. and view other videos as well. And you can try the practices for yourself at home, making any modifications to make it work for your own body. Since I'm live, we're going to practice here in a few minutes. And so I'm going to read from a blog that I wrote concerning climate aware fitness and mindfulness. So as a group fitness professional with Canfor Pro certifications in fitness instructor specialists, as well as stress resiliency, I often reflect on the role that both physical activity and mindfulness have in the management of stress and related psychological and emotional challenges such as anxiety. As a community member living and working in an urban area who is attuned to local and global issues, I've also been reflecting on the role that both fitness and mindfulness combined could have in addressing the calls for action on the climate crisis, and particularly climate justice. In researching the question of what role fitness and mindfulness combined could have in addressing climate justice issues, I came across a piece entitled Climate Blues in the March-April 2021 issue of The Walrus, written by Britt Ray, who is has a PhD in science communication. And actually, I have a copy of her new book on the table there. So Ray describes the rise of eco-anxiety and the growing movement of climate-aware therapists, some of whom are using mindfulness to help their clients manage their environmentally linked distress. Ray notes that since climate-aware therapy is an emerging field, the evidence base is not yet firmly established for which approaches work best to help people with eco-anxiety. So I asked, could mindfulness combined with group fitness be a new approach for helping people who are feeling distress and other challenging emotions about climate change and related ecological crises? So what can be learned and applied from a mindful approach to climate aware therapy? So Ray explains that a mindful strategy involves embracing and validating complex emotions about the climate crisis rather than uprooting them. It recognizes these emotions are a natural and an inevitable part of the human condition and a reasonable response to the real and unfolding threat of climate change to our lives and our planet. As we cultivate some acceptance of these emotions by naming them, observing and being curious about them, we change our relationship to these feelings and learn to manage environmentally linked distress more effectively. Ray explains that climate-aware therapists who generally work one-on-one with their clients use various techniques such as mirroring clients' concerns and emotions and encouraging clients to channel them in order to help their clients find resilience and ideally a sense of agency. Climate-aware fitness, or what I call embodied climate justice fitness, takes a similar mindful approach to fitness instructing by welcoming feelings about the climate crisis, facilitating the mirroring and channeling of these emotions through a combination of narrative and movement, thereby creating a space for transforming their weight, moving the energy through our bodies, and ideally generating some power to act on the emotions. Most group fitness instructors already use mirroring when they face their participants as they lead them through a fitness class. In the context of a climate-aware fitness class, mirroring takes on a dual meaning. So it involves facilitating the group by acknowledging environmentally linked emotions, as well as leading the class by physically facing participants. The climate-aware instructor neither turns away from the participants' emotions nor their bodies. In this way, climate-aware fitness instructors address the needs of the whole person from the perspectives of body, mind, and even spirit. So beyond the stress resiliency benefits of many fitness classes, could they have a more direct role in action on the climate crisis and particularly climate justice? Symbolizing and cultivating climate justice principles, issues, and ideals with physical activity during a group fitness class can create a space for self-reflection, education, and community building, which can lead to eco-activism. For example, the introduction to each fitness class could include a grounding land acknowledgement to address and model the importance of respecting the rights of Indigenous nations and peoples. Fitness moves and combinations of choreographed moves could become vehicles for expanding climate justice consciousness. For example, a wide lateral step tap with arms out to the side can represent the principles of equity and equality. The body in motion symbolizes the scales of justice, attempting to find these critical points of balance in human relations. Beyond equity and equality in hiring practices in fitness businesses and organizations, and beyond diversity and inclusion with respect to fitness spaces and programming, climate-aware fitness recognizes the urgency of the systemic transformations that are needed in the environments with which fitness as a practice is situated in our local communities, as well as regional, national, and global contexts. A squat with arms overhead to form a roof can represent the issue of housing and the idea of affordable green housing. Individuals, families, and communities struggling in the context of a housing crisis cannot prioritize fitness as a strategy for well-being. Even with affordable housing, the public health impacts of dependency on natural gas to heat homes needs urgent attention. A climate-aware narrative for a squat with arms overhead to form a roof can include references to energy retrofits, solar panels, and other ways in which homes, as well as businesses, can transition away from fossil fuels. A climate-aware narrative could be infused into the cardio-muscular conditioning, stretching, and relaxation meditation segments of the workout. A twist with the core engaged to can represent strengthening climate justice core values, while a full body reach overhead can represent stretching our eco-consciousness. A fitness class could conclude with a climate-aware hand gesture and invitation for each participant to set an intention regarding some climate justice action to be taken before the next class or the end of the session. Fitness instructors can become more climate aware by educating themselves and distilling concepts from articles, reports, primers, guides, documentaries, and other resources about climate change, climate justice, and local, national, and global community organizing around the movements for a Green New Deal, a just recovery from the global pandemic, etc. As a group fitness professional based in Canada and concerned with how public health issues intersect with climate justice issues, I follow the work of the Canadian Health Association for Sustainability and Equity, CHASE. CHASE is involved in educating Canadians about the fact that climate change is already harming people across the country, and along with other health organizations, is advocating for public investments in healthy, green, and just recovery. Ideally, fitness professionals can themselves become involved in climate justice action by joining local, national, and global organizations and their campaigns. I myself am participating in the Council of Canadians campaign for a just transition from fossil fuels. I have actually a parliamentary petition on hand for those who would like to read the petition and sign it today. And there are many opportunities on the Council of Canadians website for signing petitions. I'm also engaged in creative climate communication and action, mainly on local issues such as Transform TO. Transform TO is our climate action strategy at the municipal level. So as fitness instructors working in the era of a climate crisis, I ask, can we afford to compartmentalize our emotions and our lives? So if we are feeling unsettled by what we are hearing about the climate crisis, is it not in the best interests of ourselves, our participants, our industry, and our planet to recognize these feelings as a compass pointing us to what matters most to us? As a group fitness professional with training in mindfulness, who is also engaged in learning about the climate crisis and exploring where my available agency lies, It is my hope that other fitness professionals will see themselves reflected in this need to decompartmentalize. I invite them to consider adopting a more climate-aware approach to their group offerings for members of their own communities. So I have several other blogs on my website, and I invite you to visit embodiedclimatejustice.fitness.ca. And so what I'll do now is, so I'm going to invite you to participate in a 6-minute mindful climate-aware fitness practice. So again, most importantly, make it work for you. So if you just want to observe today, that's perfectly fine. If you want to just do upper body gestures, that's perfectly fine. Whatever works for you, same goes at home, right? So I'm just going to put my glasses on because I like to see. Fitness instructor with glasses. It's a thing. Okay, and I'll put this on. I haven't actually used one of these before, so can you hear me? Okay. So, you know, I'm not sure how the music and my voice will sync, especially on Zoom, but we'll see. Just we'll do our best here. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you can cue the music anytime. Okay, so standing with your feet about hip width apart, okay, and really feeling yourself grounding down to the energy of the earth below you. Hands to the heart. Let's take a moment for a land acknowledgement. So I'll speak my acknowledgement and you can speak yours or learn about these. So I'm standing on the traditional territory of many First Nations, now home to many diverse Indigenous peoples. I acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaties, signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Bring your hands to your belly. So let's acknowledge any feelings you may be having about the climate crisis. So perhaps you're feeling anxious or confused or even afraid. So let's mirror these feelings with some belly breaths. So as you inhale, relax the belly into the palms, and as you exhale, draw the belly and the feelings in. Again, relaxing the belly into the palms and then drawing the feelings and connecting. Hands to the hips as we transition to our warm-up with a step tap. So step tap. Good. And we're beginning to symbolize interconnectedness. So let's add arms. So pressing with our palms toward the earth. So it's like we're connecting the energy of our bodies with the energy of the earth. Good. And we're also symbolizing anthropo kinship, the idea of the connectedness of our bodies with our local ecosystems and our local communities in the Anthropocene, our current geologic era. Good. Next move is a step tap wide, so step tap. Good. We're beginning to symbolize equity and equality. Okay, arms out, shoulders relaxed. So it's like the scales of justice, finding balance in human relations. Good. Keep going with that. Shoulder rolls. So equity and equality for Indigenous folks, for Black folks, all people of color, migrants, workers, women, LGBTQ folks. Good. Transitioning to cardio, so just walking on the spot. Okay, and then I'm going to go forward and tap and back. So you can stay on the spot. So we're starting to symbolize active transport in our cities. Good. Walking paths. Next moves. So bicycle arms and then knee up. So symbolizing cycling paths. Good. So we want to increase active transport infrastructure in our cities to reduce emissions. Good. Next move is a squat. So knees behind the toes, right? Scoot the belly, right? Weight is in the heels. And then hands to heart center, pressing through the palms. So we're symbolizing housing. Just make this work for you. You don't have to go deep at all, okay? And then we're going to raise the roof on affordable green housing. So raising the roof. So make that work for you. Maybe you don't want to raise your arms, right? So green affordable housing with energy retrofits, solar panels, heat pumps, right? We want to reduce emissions from housing. Good, next move. Step tap and double step with the tap, pressing through those palms, shoulders relaxed. So we're starting to symbolize public transit. Good, so it's like a transit line. Good, and we're gonna add a little twist here. Only make it work for you, okay? So symbolizing turnstiles in subway stations, train stations, bus stations, in our decarbonized cities. Good. Last move is coming up. Good. So again, it's a step tap wide, and then you can kind of start to bob and weave if that works for you. Good. So we're going to symbolize blocking privatization. So bring your hands up to your shoulders in a stop symbol. And then we're going to block privatization here. So begin to block. So we want to block privatization. We want to keep public infrastructure and public utilities in the public domain so that we can decide for the people and the planet. Good. And then hands together at heart center, interlace the fingers. Let's symbolize strengthening our climate justice core values with a twist. Twisting. Twisting from our core. And then full body reach overhead as we stretch our eco-consciousness. Hands together at heart center. And let's symbolize holding the earth in our hands as we make an intention to take one climate justice action this week and breathe. Thank you for joining me for Embodied Climate Justice Fitness. I invite you to ask any questions you have, and I invite you to give me any feedback.